On today's DNVR Nuggets podcast, we're going to be talking about one thing we've learned about each player since camp opened up, and the two-man game. We're going to talk about the new two-man game, the new duos on the Denver Nuggets roster this season. This is the DNVR Nuggets podcast. Baby, started up. Little Tuesday episode. The Nuggets have landed. What is up, everybody? Welcome to the DNBA show.
Let's go. Let's go.
Live from Studio B, two-man game today. Votes got the day off, but me and Harrison are going to be carrying you through as we talk about all these topics. The Nuggets, it is funny that we went to bed last night. Not even went to bed. Went home last night, and they were getting on a plane. And it wasn't until like an hour ago that they landed.
I know. Like, thank God they were in first class.
The entire plane.
Could you imagine DeAndre Jordan in... I'll give him Coach Plus. Like, you pay a little for the extra legroom for a flight to that part of the world.
You know I'm a heightist.
Yeah.
You know that, right?
Yeah.
I don't like short people.
You definitely pay for the extra legroom
every single time. Absolutely don't care. Here's the thing. When I get on a plane and I'm like on Southwest and I'm Group C or something, it's not just bad for me. It's bad for everybody.
Right. So do you think that in Southwest case, they should let all the tall people board first?
I don't think it's Southwest. I think everybody should do that.
Yeah.
There should be you're above 6'5".
Why don't we just give you all the best jobs too?
I'm just trying to say,
best cars.
It's not about me. It's about society.
Yeah.
The entire plane is better.
I did hear that all the players, of course, get the first, rows, the first class. I think the airline they're on, Etihad, it's like the really nice one. So you have your individual pods for first class and stuff. And then, the back of the plane is where everybody else goes. But I even think the airline is so nice that is like business class compared to, a Southwest.
Well, there you go, man. I like that you always have the scoops on these things.
I mean,
so hold on. Yoke got 6 new horses. He is unaware of all of their names. Are you aware of all of their names?
I hadn't heard of the new ones he has.
Oh, you haven't heard?
Well, here's the thing with the horses. I'm only locked into his horses in Serbia.
Oh, because he does have some around the globe.
It's too much to keep up with Italy, France, where he's got all these others racing. It's easy to keep up with the ones in Serbia, though.
I put this on Twitter. So he has 6 new ones. He only knows 3.5 of their names.
Okay, give them to me.
Captain Jog.
That's the best name.
That is
Captain
really
good name. Is an incredible name for a horse or an athlete.
Captain Jog. We should give him the nickname Captain Jog. We have to bust that out every time he beats someone down the court.
It's sprints so good.
Up, Captain Jog. Got him. He has Time Flies.
Okay.
Paris River. Which
Paris River.
That's the one that gave everyone E. coli this year. And then Tactical Something. He goes, Tactical Something.
I've always wondered, I've never owned a horse. I've always wondered how you name it.
I'm guessing these ones already had names and you just can't. Which is funny because it's not like a horse knows its name. Does a horse know its name?
I don't know.
I don't think so. So you can just I bought Captain Jog. Don't like that. I'm going to call it Joker's Wild.
Right.
A worse name in this case.
I like to think he named Dreamcatcher.
You think so?
First horse.
We should ask him, actually.
I mean, Dreamcatcher, it's also kind of a word synonymous with Jokic's career. Did he name Brino Lamar? I don't know.
There's no way. Because some of these are just Italian. I am curious, though, if he actually cares about the names of the horses. I will have to ask him. He might actually answer that question. But my hunch is he does not name them.
I agree.
Let's get into our topic, though. Is there anything else? There was media days yesterday. Did you keep your ear to the ground on some of the other teams' media days?
Yeah.
By the way, little housekeeping note: the Nuggets. You might have noticed that the Celtics started 2 days before the Nuggets, right?
Yeah.
That was every team's choice, and I asked Michael Malone the other day at practice why it happened the way the Nuggets did. Apparently, when you're going on these trips, you kind of get to start the clock early, but you don't get extra days. So the Celtics are going to end up having to quote unquote, having to take 2 extra days off that the Nuggets will not later. So Michael Malone
is that in the entire preseason or
the entire
preseason?
In the entire preseason,
okay.
I believe.
Okay.
And so the Nuggets looked at it and were like, we'd rather have the flexibility later on rather than early on. So the Celtics may be a little more ahead in these Abu Dhabi games. Who knows? In their like preparation. But the Nuggets will get it on the back
Here's
end.
a note I did see from the Bahamas. Where the 76ers are having training camp in the Bahamas.
And our guys are there, by the way.
Our PHLY guys are there. We sent the whole crew.
We did send the whole crew.
I know the Nuggets are going to Abu Dhabi, and that's a version of their training camp.
We didn't get sent.
But it's kind of funny how the 76ers are having training camp in the Bahamas. The Nuggets are having training camp in a high school gym with a leak in the roof.
Levels
maybe.
To this. There's levels to this.
But Nuggets are going to Abu Dhabi, so it kind of evens out. I did see Joel Embiid did not participate in the first scrimmage of the year. Load management.
He's load managing
I'm
the
dead
first
serious. Nick Nurse said, we're holding him out. This is part of the plan.
Oh, my God.
We're already hearing it. This is part of the management plan for Embiid this year.
Well, Embiid was also on my radar. He's like 30 pounds down.
He did
and
say
I believe
that,
it. I mean, he looks good. You know, that is an interesting one. It also does make you think he's been in the league for 11 years. It is funny that this is the first time you're trying this new weight.
Didn't he also have the quote about, this year I don't care about,
awards.
MVP, all NBA, all that kind of stuff.
Here's the thing. I honestly think he did care about this stuff too much, and it is part of why he got hurt. Like, there were games where he was up 20 still playing in the fourth quarter, and you go, so if he is sincere about that, we'll know early.
Yeah.
But I am very curious to see just how much. Does he rest some of the games against the bad teams when he knows they can win? I'm very curious to see that. And maybe it is. Anybody else? Any other notes?
I saw in Phoenix, they are definitely shooting more threes. Media day bingo card. That's pretty much the free space that you get.
Again, I buy it, though.
But I do buy it. Budenholzer coming in. Bradley Beal had a quote that was like, yeah, we have to. We don't have a choice. So
one thing about Budenholzer when he arrived in Milwaukee, and I remember this from like 8 years ago when he arrived there, he did a thing where he would put tape on the ground on the court. Right. Do you remember this?
Yep.
And the whole point was...
The 4 spots.
Because and there's a whole thing about like 2 feet of space. Like you say, go space on the left wing. Mm-hmm. But the left wing is a wide area, and he wanted to narrow it down to like, no, this is different. And I honestly think these types of things, these details, are things that make a huge difference. And not every team emphasizes that level of detail. So other teams, I think, prioritize, other things. But to me, in the NBA, 1 foot to the left, 1 foot to the right makes a huge difference when you're talking about spacing. And so I look at that and I go, Budenholzer clearly puts an emphasis on those types of things. And that's how you generate more threes, is sometimes subtle little shifts of, no, it's not this region. It's right here. You start the play right here.
I just think of Brook Lopez spotting up from those areas on the court. Like, that's the guy I think of when you bring up those areas on the wing. I also saw that Giannis made a sex joke at his presser.
It's kind of his go-to. You know what?
It is kind of his go-to.
He goes to sex jokes a lot. Don't notice that.
And did I see anything else? Kawhi Leonard already hurt. We knew that.
The Kawhi piece.
Clippers vibes are pretty bad, it seems like.
But here's the thing about it, man. Kawhi hurt. James Harden's talking about how he's still the guy he was when he was like the best player on the team. I'm with you. I think Clippers. I look at Clippers and I go, I'm kind of selling.
Their vibes are terrible.
And Kawhi
moving into this new arena, like you can feel these things. This feels like a disaster is about to happen.
Which could texture the whole season, man.
Yeah.
It really could, because if there's turmoil there, you got to start selling parts there, and there's a lot of good parts. So I'm curious to see if that
did you
becomes
see
a story.
Scoot Henderson's quote?
I did see that.
He was asked what he learned the most during his rookie season. He said he knew where the good food spots were.
Unclear if he's joking or not. Him and DeAndre Ayton, very scary as a cornerstone one too.
It's a hell of a big two.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that's about it for the headlines.
Well, let's get into our Nuggets here because we're going to get to players in segment 2, but I want to start with the team. If I had one takeaway about the team so far that I feel confident enough to share, look, it's training camp. These things are all going to feel bigger than they actually are, but it's what we're given to talk about right now. I would say my number one takeaway is that the team is way more locked in than I thought they would be. And that's a good thing. And I think they are way more locked in than Michael Malone thought they would be. I think there was a question that we sensed and felt from talking to people in the offseason, and that has been confirmed since being around the team, that nobody was really quite sure what the energy or vibes would be in Denver and how much guys were motivated to come back, how much guys were really feeling the sting and all that. And I think that that's one of my big takeaways around the team is they're locked in, and they're locked in because they are focused. Focused and maybe even feeling the sting of last year more than they have let on, because it's a quiet team and they don't share a lot of things publicly.
And I think it's the veterans leading that charge.
Agreed. Yep.
Russell Westbrook, of course. He's probably the ringleader of it. I mean, he's the one who's kind of kindled these vibes to an extent.
I would say he is the fuel behind it, though. What I mean is I think Murray, Jokic, Aaron Gordon, Porter in particular, though, and Christian Braun, we'll throw him in there. Those are the guys that played last year a lot. And I think all of those guys have expressed in some form or fashion it sucked to sit on that loss. And it sucked to not repeat, and we are coming into this year with a different mentality and focus than last year.
And thinking back to Media Day, I think one of our takeaways was from a lot of guys, there wasn't a ton of excitement and juicy quotes, and you couldn't sense a real happy to be back attitude. But maybe it was just more of a business type of thing, and okay, we're here. Let's just kind of get this thing started. We don't have to talk about it. Let's just play.
I think there was frustration at the end of last year that in the moment probably feels like could go either way. We're frustrated, and I think people very upset. I think players were upset at coach. I think coach upset at players. I think front office upset at coach upset at front office.
Yeah.
I think there was a little bit of all of that going on. And so you go away and there's a bad feeling. And the question is, when everyone sort of goes to their room, so to speak, how do they come back? Do they come back? And then look, Michael Malone has even said it yesterday. Not a lot of guys were in the gym this summer.
Yeah.
There wasn't, I get the sense there wasn't a lot of communication between each other over the summer. So I think there was this bad feeling leaving the year. You go your separate ways and kind of are on your own, and you come back and it's like, well, is everybody on the same page now? Is everybody over their frustrations and refocused and remotivated? And I think, and who knows why, but I feel like the answer to that has been a surprising yes. Not just a little one, but a surprising wow, everybody kind of went off their own way but came back to the same conclusion and sort of rebonded quickly.
And I think having some new blood in the building also helps with that too. If they would have brought back the same team, I don't know if you come back with that type of attitude and you just get in the gym and you're like, oh, it's the same group here. Yeah. But you have Westbrook, you have Šarić, who everybody seems like they love playing with, and who seems like he's fit in very easily. And that has helped, I think, just bring some new life to the table.
Yeah. And then I think they're rested too. And I know that this is a weird one that's hard to quantify, but I do think that this break, I mean, Jokic aside, Jamal Murray aside, but I think a lot of guys, Aaron Gordon, I heard, leaner and different things we'll talk about later. I think a lot of guys actually got a full offseason mentally and physically and are in a good spot too.
Well, Michael Porter is a big one with that too. Michael Porter's healthy. He's not hurt. Coming off last year, he was not in a great space physically, I don't think. He put on all this muscle over the summer. He looks bigger. Maybe he's ramping up to play more power forward. I don't know. We'll see. That could have been factoring into his plans over the offseason. But everybody looks in pretty good shape, I'd say.
Absolutely. And I think with Michael Porter, too, because I've gone back and listened to all the Media Day stuff twice now because we're working on different things we're working on. But Michael Porter, the thing I didn't catch the first time was him talking about how much he got to do this summer.
Yeah.
Work out. Because of his health, but also I think just because of the rest, that he had a full summer to get in the lab. And we know Michael Porter likes to be in the lab. I can't wait to get to the Michael Porter segment here because I think there's some good insights. So we'll take an early break now, and on the other side, we'll get into the players. That's it. And then, of course, the Westbrook effect was the other part of the team, but we'll get into him specifically. But more locked in, hungrier, rested. That's my takeaway from the team through 4 days. Let's get to the players on the other side of this break.
Shout out to our friends over at Red Hawk Roofing. They are Denver's best roofers, and they have joined the DNVR team. Red Hawk Roofing, they're at all our events here at the bar.
I'm having dinner with them on Thursday.
There you go. They just get dinner with our podcast hosts.
The fellas, I can't wait. Probably have a little, cocktail or two.
There you go. Quality materials, decades of experience, quick response time. They are Colorado's best estimators and contractors. Free no obligation roof and property inspections, free in-depth photo reports for all inspections as well.
They're the DNVR of roofers.
Yeah, definitely.
That's what I would say.
Yeah, I mean,
in every way.
Yeah, they are. They're pretty much a branch of our company.
They really are.
Like we have
they're our roofing branch.
Broncos, Avs, Nuggets, roofers.
That's our roofing arm.
They're a roofing vertical. Check out Red Hawk Roofing for all your roofing needs. If you need a roof over your home or business, redhawkroofing.com, 720-771-8921.
I also want to tell you guys about Shady Rays. Get ready for the season ahead. Right now, that would be fall, but maybe you want to get ready for winter. With the shades that are built to last, our friends at Shady Rays have you covered with premium polarized shades that won't break the bank. Shady Rays is an independent sunglass company offering a world-class product rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. Their shades have durable frames and crystal clear optics, making them the perfect choice for all outdoor adventures, whether that's just driving around town, hiking a little bit, skiing. They've got those ski goggles, or my favorite, the bass fishing goggles that you can wear. They have all kinds of great stuff. And if you're looking for a specific style, or maybe you just want shades that you can wear to the stadium or arena that match your team's colors, guess what? They got a wide palette of colors you can choose from on most glasses, likely ones that are going to fit your fit or your favorite team. And exclusively for our listeners, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal of the season. Head to shadyrays.com and use the code DNVR for 35% off polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. All right, back here on the DNVR Nuggets podcast. Go ahead and throw us a like. Don't forget to subscribe. We're almost to 100,000 followers on YouTube. It's going to be a big day. We got to start planning how we celebrate when we get there.
We're almost at 91,000 followers.
We're growing.
We've almost grown 1,000 since we last looked.
Help us get there, guys. It would be a huge milestone for all of us. Help us get there. Let's start with, I just made a random list of players, so we're not going to go in any kind of particular order. We're going to start with Dario Šarić.
I feel like you're trying to take Dario Šarić as your guy.
Well, first of all, he is my guy.
Oh, see, here we go.
He is my guy. I was hyping him up in the summer.
Oh, God. First on the list. I see how this goes.
He was available. He was sitting there.
He's your guy.
He was sitting there. Nobody wanted to take him. I took him. Dario Šarić is, I would say, like if we were doing a stock report right now, I would say stock up. Yeah. I purposely did not make this stock report because I was like, it's just a little too silly.
Like, could you actually put anybody's stock down? Pickett?
Pickett stock is somehow
didn't
down.
talk at media day.
He's had a rough camp. Peyton Watson, maybe. I mean, he's been out. You know,
probably,
like that's a thing.
P-Watt, yeah.
But whose stock is the highest? Šarić is in the conversation at least for this because he seems to be more liked by people we didn't expect. I mean, Aaron Gordon has gone out of his way to rave about him. Julian Strawther. I think smart players fit here. He's liked by his teammates. And two things, what we've learned about him. Developing chemistry with Julian Strawther already, which I think is going to be an important aspect. We're going to talk about them when we get to duos. And to my surprise, who is he going to play with? That's more open than I would have expected.
Yeah.
What position and who does he play alongside? We saw DeAndre Jordan getting reps the other day, not alongside Šarić. We've heard Aaron Gordon talk about looking forward to playing alongside of him. And then, of course, Michael Porter seems like a natural fit to go there. Vlatko Čančar's been discussed next to him. So I just feel like Šarić has sort of... I'm already more intrigued by the momentum he has and the combinations I expect to see with him.
Yeah, I've been loving what I've been hearing and seeing from Šarić over the course of training camp. Look, if the Nuggets really wanted to lean into it, they could build a lot of their bench offense around him and with him and going through him. Now that's a big ask. Like that's a big thing to do. It's a big thing to spend a lot of time on. You know, you're spending so much time on other areas. How much time do you really want to devote to your bench offense? But like having him as a guy who can play in the post, who can do DHOs from the elbow like Jokic does. He does things at that position that like the Nuggets haven't had a guy who can do that before. So it opens up a lot of possibilities with that. And then, like you said, you got the versatility aspect. He can play alongside other guys. And the IQ part seems very real as well. high IQ players are going to look good in Denver.
Yeah.
The Nuggets offense is perfect for high IQ players that can play read and react offense, that can just improvise out there. And that's what Šarić can do.
The other thing about him that I didn't know was what his relationship was to Jokic. Now, we all know the former Yugoslavian players, even just European players in general, tend to gravitate towards each other. But that's not always the case. It sounds like they're actually much better friends than I even thought. And that's it. I mean, look, Vlatko Čančar, as good of a player as he is, one of the things we love about him on the team is it gives Jokic a buddy. It just gives him a release valve. I think Dario Šarić represents that as well.
Absolutely. I mean, they probably speak a little of the same language.
I don't know. Let us know. Is there enough crossover? Like, Vlatko says he can kind of understand Serbian.
Yeah.
Is there enough crossover between Croatian and Serbian?
Well, I mean, Vlatko, he understands Serbian enough to trash talk Jokic in Serbian. So I wonder if Šarić could do the same. You got to think he could. But, like, that's great. You know, if they're on the road, if they're going out to dinner, Šarić is probably in the Jokic crew now.
Yeah.
If they're not doing a team dinner, if they're going off by themselves. You know, you got Šarić, Vlatko, Ogi. You got a bigger crew forming here.
Yeah. Here's the other thing about it, and I don't know if the Serbs feel this way, the Croats feel this way, the Slovenes feel this way, but there is a piece of me that thinks, you know, just knowing the history of former Yugoslavia, the pride they have in their basketball tradition obviously has roots from all the different republics.
Everybody's saying it's the same language.
Everybody's saying it's the exact same?
Yeah, pretty
Very
much.
similar. So there you go. So they can probably speak to each other pretty... Oh, wow. Serbs understand 90%. So it actually probably helps a lot.
Yeah.
That's a big deal, I feel. I feel like that's a big deal. But here's the thing. The trio of them coming here and finding success... to me, would feel pretty cool. It would be a cool thing to be like, hey, there's a Yugoslav like sort of core to this team that helps them win, that maybe realizes a kind of a cool long lost dream.
Well, the Nuggets also, they play, you know, more of an international style anyway than a lot of other teams.
Totally.
Like, you contrast their style with the Clippers, the Suns.
Corner the market on it. Get all the smart players to come here.
Like, that's what we want. That's what we want basketball to be. So this is helping the cause.
Yeah. MPJ. Let's go move on to him. Number one thing we learned about him is that he's bigger than ever, and that he's going to be playing more power forward this year, or at least
We think maybe
it's being hinted at. I mean, you're right. This is training camp promises. But
Hunter Tyson could be MVP at training camp, could also not play at all this year.
But I think with MPJ, there's been enough smoke around the power forward thing. Like, there's been enough hints that I actually think this is something we're going to see. More power forward minutes.
I would hope. It seems like such a clear solution to some of the bench issues. It's staring the Nuggets right in the face. And MPJ bulking up. I mean, who knows? I don't think this is the case, but maybe the coaches were like, hey, you might play more power forward next season, bulk up a little over the offseason. Maybe that was something that the Nuggets relayed to him at the end of last season to work on over the summer. He's already a great rebounder. You know, you just look at a lot of the fours in the league now. He's bigger or just as big as a lot of the guys he's going to be going up against, especially on second units. He's probably bigger than pretty much any other power forward that's coming off another team's
When you say
bench.
bigger, you mean taller, though? Because he's skinny. Even if his added weight, he's still skinnier.
Definitely taller, but even like he's got some bulk on him now based on what I saw at Media Day, man.
I'm not buying the bulk. I'm going to go ahead and... I think I'm buying that it's real, that it's there. I'm not buying that it's going to become like a... He's just so top hip. Like, his hips are so high.
True, yeah.
His legs are so skinny.
He's doing a lot of arm days.
Narrow. Well, I just think that some guys can't grow, in certain areas. I don't think he's ever going to be... He's always going to have a waist that's a 28-inch waist, and there's nothing you can do about that. Nonetheless, I do think he's playing more power forward. And you just said with the bench, I'm not so sure. As I start to game theory this out, a lot of people think, okay, Šarić, I think, is going to be the 5. I do think the Nuggets might have thoughts about playing him alongside a DeAndre Jordan, but I think and even a Nikola Jokic, we'll talk about later. But I would bet most of his minutes are at 5.
I'd say 75% of his minutes at the minimum. Come at the backup 5.
So then do you put MPJ at the 4 next to him? Well, that defensively is really tough. Because Šarić is for whatever he's good at defensively, I don't know if you do that. Aaron Gordon has talked about sharing the court with him, which I've taken note of. Vlatko Cancar has talked about being there, which I take note of, maybe even a Zeke Naji. So I look at that and I go, I think it's more likely that Michael Porter is going to be playing power forward alongside Nikola Jokic more. And I actually like that. Maybe you bring in a Westbrook, you keep a Murray on, and you move Mike to the 4, and you put one of Christian or Peyton in that 3 spot. To me, that might be more likely, and I'll tell you what, love it. Michael Porter at 4 next to Jokic, you're scoring a lot. You got to get stops, but you're scoring a lot.
And that can space the floor out more because maybe you're worried about spacing a little bit if you have AG and Christian Braun out there. You know, Christian's an okay shooter. AG is kind of a non-shooter. But the spacing changes a lot going from KCP to Christian Braun there with that alignment. So you put MPJ in there. You still have Christian out there with that group. Spacing looks a lot better. You have fine length, and then you can play AG at backup 5.
Christian shot
backup 4, however you want to splice it.
Over 40% from threes above the break last year.
Yeah.
Michael Porter in the corner is a cheat code. You put Jamal Murray in the other corner, at least to start out. That's a cheat code. You got 2 elite shooters in the corner, and one guy who at least last year above the break was good. That's good spacing. And now you have a Westbrook Jokic, initiation. To me, that makes sense as a starting unit. Now, defensively, the question is, can that work? Because you're really only talking about a Christian, or maybe that's even Peyton, but Christian or Peyton, and then Jokic, who I think is a good positional defender, rebounder. But the other guys, Westbrook, Murray, Porter, those guys are going to have to really key in on defense in those minutes. But to me, it makes sense, and it lends itself to a second unit. So Mike at the power forward spot, that's another thing we learned. And then lastly, more cutting and more mid-range is a thing we learned about him. I mean, once from Calvin Booth and once from him, we've heard about his mid-range efficiency, where he's one of the best in the NBA. In fact, I had a pretty awesome stat that'll be on our preview series for his mid-range efficiency that I can't wait. But he's talked about it, but more than anything, he's talked also about his conditioning and wanting to move more. To me, when Mike says last year, I don't need to change my game, there's stuff I can do within my role that can augment it, that's a prime example. Are you in better shape to cut more, to cut harder? Are you more willing to get to the mid-range and elevate and understand where that works? To me, that's within his current role and something that I think can take him to the next level.
I think the conditioning is something he's been on for a couple years now, because he started working out with Steph Curry a few years ago. And from what I know about those workouts, a lot of it is conditioning and obviously shooting focused, where you're sprinting the full length of the court, shooting a 3, sprinting back the full length of the court the other way, shooting another 3. And when you think about Steph, I mean, all the off-ball movement that he does, I don't know if there's anybody in better shape in the NBA than Steph Curry, and who covers like more miles in his type of role. So I think it's been something Mike has been locking in on for years. And off-ball movement, we love that. There are so many different ways that the Nuggets can use Michael Porter, in so many different spots they can put him in. There's so much more to his game that they can explore offensively. So the more movement, the more mid-range that he can do, put him in way more situations to be creative.
Yeah. Lastly, for this segment, Christian, what did we learn? I feel like we've learned the least amount about Christian because, I mean, he's a quiet guy, whatever. But here's what I'll say. In great shape. Physically, he looks better than ever. And by the way, I don't want people to take this the wrong way. I heard last year to start the season he wasn't in as great of shape as you would think, because he
had the ankle injury last year.
Ankle injury, but I also even think it was like halfway through the season where it was like, all right, I probably need to go a little harder, what have you. And I think that was a lesson received by him this year, where it's like, no, he's coming into the season now at 100. And I think we see that. He's confident, but here's the biggest thing. I think the team is confident in him. And that's important too, because he needs confidence to be good at the shooting guard role. And everyone has talked under the assumption that he's the starting shooting guard and under the assumption that they are good with it. There's no reservations or he's going to have to do this. Oh, yeah, man, he knows how to play, and when we're excited to share it with him.
I mean, how could you not love playing with Christian Braun?
Agreed.
He doesn't need any shots. He's going to do all the dirty work. He's perfect as a 5th guy in the starting lineup. He's going to cut. He's going to move. He's going to do exactly what he needs to do. If you think about it, his year last year was so thrown off from the start because of the ankle injury. And then if you remember, they were trying to like have him be more of a ball handler and like create more, which seemed like a good idea at the time, but didn't pan out.
Right.
And then it seemed like the second half of the season, maybe, you know, he gets in great shape or he's ramping up to that.
A little healthier.
Yeah, a little healthier. And then he's just locking back in on his exact role.
Yeah.
And that's also going to be the role he plays this year.
Right.
You know, so I mean, I feel more confident than ever with him at shooting guard. Doesn't it feel like as more distance separates between KCP like leaving, that everybody's kind of coming around to the fact that maybe it won't be a disaster?
I mean, again, this is in the off season. You have nothing to do but to like talk yourself, you know, as a fan. I'm not even saying as an analyst, just as a fan, to sit on one thing. Then thing changes.
And now it's like, it's probably going to be okay. That seems like the consensus now.
I honestly think that's how the team feels. I mean, obviously, I think they loved KCP, but I think the team is just emotionally and mentally like well past it.
Yep.
And now it's like, oh, we got some new toys to play with. Let's figure out where they all fit. Christian being part of that. Let's take a break. On the other side, Strawther, Murray, Chanchar, Westbrook, and the big fella himself, Nikola Jokic.
If you guys have any flooring needs, Empire Today, those are your guys. Empire Today is the best place to get new flooring. You can't beat them on quality, service, and speed. They have a great virtual floor designer, which is a great way to see how floors will look in any space in your home, in your office. Before you actually put them in, you just snap a picture, and then instantly you can see how new floors will look in your home. If you go to empiretoday.com/DNVR, you can get $350 off. That's the discount. You can get $350 off when you use the promo code DNVR. Restrictions apply. empiretoday.com/DNVR for details. If you need new floors for your home, for your office, whatever it might be, Empire Today, you can't beat them on quality, service, and speed. They keep shopping for floors simple with curated product selections. Their philosophy is to help you find what you need, not overwhelm you. Check them out today, empiretoday.com/DNVR.
Also want to tell you guys about Z-Biotics. I have to tell you about that game-changing product I use before a night out with drinks. It's called pre-alcohol. And let's face it, you know this, Harrison. After a night of drinks, I don't always bounce back the next day like I used to.
Rarely.
Yeah, you've only known me as an old man. You've never knew me as a young buck where, you know, it didn't matter what you were doing. In fact, I distinctly remember this. In college, you know, we would always go out drinking and have a morning practice. Coach knew that. And I always felt like I was like jumping and dunking like crazy the next day.
Yeah.
But now that I'm old, like no chance. No chance. Are you kidding me? I'm 1,000 times worse. And oftentimes you either have to make this choice. You either have a great night out or a great next day. And so you have to pick, like, is it worth it tonight? Because tomorrow I'm going to pay. But guess what? There's a surefire way to wake up and feeling refreshed after a night of drinking, and it's with pre-alcohol. Z-Biotics pre-alcohol probiotic drink is the world's first genetically engineered probiotic. It was invented by PhD scientists to tackle rough mornings after drinking, and here's how it works. When you drink, alcohol gets converted into a toxic byproduct in your gut. In this byproduct, it's this byproduct, not dehydration, that is to blame for your rough next day. Pre-alcohol produces an enzyme to break this byproduct down, so just remember to take Z-Biotics with your first drink of the night. Drink responsibly, and you'll feel your best tomorrow. So I kept hearing about it. I had to check it out myself. And now that I've tried it, I believe the hype. And with their GMO technology, they will release different products that help address toxic byproducts for modern living in the gut. You just have to go to zbiotics.com/DNVR Nuggets. That's zbiotics.com/DNVR Nuggets to learn more about it and get 15% off your first order when you use DNVR Nuggets at checkout. Z-Biotics is backed with a 100% money back guarantee. So if you're unsatisfied for any reason, they'll refund your money. No questions asked. All right, back here, segment 3, DNVR Nuggets podcast. Throw a like if you're enjoying the show. I'm excited for this year's coverage. We have some cool stuff planned. You're going to want to stay connected. I see the fan base starting to get excited. We've got a game in 3 days. We're filming our preview series tomorrow, which I'm super pumped for.
Yeah.
I went deep in the numbers doing this one. I got Second Spectrum this year.
Ooh.
Second Spectrum, I'm telling you, there's some interesting little stats to mind. So you're going to want to be on the channel, subscribe so you catch that. Julian Strawther. What we learned about him, spent more time with the Nuggets staff than any other player this year.
He was probably in the gym, in the Nuggets practice gym, more than anybody this summer.
That does 2 things. It makes a strong impression. It shows dedication. He did it because, you know, he saw that KCP was gone and there's an opportunity. It reminds me, I played football, baseball, and basketball my whole life, all the way to 9th grade.
3-sport athlete.
A lot of people were saying.
Wow.
But what made me stop was my freshman year in basketball, a bunch of guys either graduated or quit or whatever, and I had like moved up. And going after the freshman year, I like Julian Strawther. I looked around and I was like, there's nobody in front of me. Like, this is wide open now. So I quit other sports and focus. And Strawther is kind of having that summer where, like, he works hard, he does all this stuff, but he looks around and he goes, wait, KCP's gone?
Yeah.
I can play 20 minutes a night next year. This is my chance. And he's very serious and focused about it. So that's number one. And then number two, developing chemistry with Dario Saric. That, to me, are the two things that it's music to my ears on both accounts.
Yeah, we've talked about how the Nuggets kind of have to play him this year. There's really nobody else to play at backup shooting guard if you think about it. And if you also look at the 3-point shooting, they need somebody to stretch the floor and be a threat from there. They need somebody to make threes. He's going to be in the rotation. He's going to have to play. And he's definitely recognized that. And, you know, from all accounts, he's really put in the work this summer. So it's kind of the thing where you expected him to have that kind of summer, but you do like that he followed through in that aspect.
The developing chemistry with Saric part is so interesting because I was thinking about this. A large part of both of their success is going to come down to that pairing. And I kind of like that he has an early sort of chemistry with him, at least according to him, likes playing with him and like already kind of knows how they're going to have to work together.
Yeah. And those two are going to spend a lot of time together. And you know, Šarić, how good of a passer he is, that should be able to free up Julian Strawther for a lot of open threes. You know, the second unit, how it's coming together, Westbrook, Šarić, Strawther, like you
starting to make a little sense.
You need Strawther stretching the floor, especially next to a Westbrook, especially next to a Peyton Watson if he's playing with him. It is making sense, but you will need Strawther to make threes.
Jamal Murray, takeaways. He's in good shape. We saw him at practice yesterday for the scrimmage portion. He looked really quick, pushing himself hard in camp, including on the defensive end because he's being guarded by Westbrook and guarding Westbrook, and that creates a little bit. And then I would say this. He has a chip on his shoulder. Like, I've already put this out. I think Jamal Murray's having a good year this year. I'm very hard on him, and I stand by everything I've said. I know some people have not liked some of the criticisms I've had or even some of the different things I've had to say about him. I'm hard on Jamal for good reason, and I promise you for good reason. But I do think he has a chip on his shoulder this year that is, I would say from a basketball standpoint, a good chip on his shoulder. Like, he's been surly.
Yeah.
But I think that, forget the media portion of this, because like that's a whole separate thing. Who cares? Whatever. But I do think that there is a level of Murray coming into this year with a bit of a, everybody is kind of counting me out right now, and I have to, for my own cred, kind of show them. And I think that's the mentality he's kind of looked like he's had for the last 4 days and what we hear from him.
Good. I mean, great. Yeah. Like, a motivated Jamal Murray can accomplish anything.
Yep.
So I like that he's got a chip on his shoulder. I like that he's in good shape, pushing himself hard in camp. I wonder, you know, how he feels about having Westbrook here, though. You know, Westbrook has said, my job or one of my jobs is to push Jamal Murray to be the best player he can be.
It's not a secret.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, this is the thing over the summer where, like, I think this could be this. It's no longer a secret.
Yeah.
That's part of what the Nuggets organization kind of has looked at and said, we need, for whatever reason, right or wrong, this is a thing that's needed. Yeah. And I agree with you. It's got to be weird for Jamal to know that the team brought in someone to yell at him.
The other part of that is, how does Jamal respond to that?
Yeah.
Like, does he accept that and say, yes, this is good for me, and just, you know, go along with it? Or is he like, no, I don't want to be yelled at by Russell Westbrook?
Right. And I think one thing about Murray, again, so far, early returns are that he has responded to that in a positive way. And Westbrook's leadership is going to be about navigating that, because different people need different types of leadership. And Jamal, I imagine, is a very, very, very difficult player to lead because he needs pushed, and I think he responds to it. But he is, in my opinion, this is my opinion on him being around him for 10 years now, I think a little self-conscious and a little sensitive, right? And that's part of why he's so surly with the media, is that the media's job is to criticize him, and he doesn't really love that, and he doesn't always handle it well. But Westbrook, in a different role than what the media is in, there is a tactful way to pull off and be like, I'm pushing him. I'm being a jerk to him when I need to be a jerk, but he knows I have his back. And Westbrook seems like he's up for that challenge. From a Murray standpoint, though, I will say as I'm getting ready, I'm going through the Nuggets playbook and, trying just to always, every year I do this where I try to familiarize myself with any new wrinkles and how guys execute certain actions.
Well, you would think we'd be able to just watch practices now because you've already tweeted out the whole playbook. So they can't be hiding anything else behind those practice doors. It's already all out there.
Well, it will be. I have 148 regular season plays and then another 80 playoff plays.
Ooh, the playoff. Expanded pack.
That one is the one I'm like, people are sometimes like, what are you doing sharing the plays? But guys, every team knows everybody's plays. This is not, I'm not sharing secrets here.
Yeah.
They literally run some of the same plays at the same moments in games over and over again. There's no mystery in the NBA.
Yeah.
It's really, the devil is the details, right? And that's why looking at the playbook year to year is interesting, is because you see okay, guys ran it at this level last year and at this level. One of the things that's really stood out as I've been going through the playbook is how freaking good Murray is at adjusting to he is better at running some of the key plays that are sort of his plays. Everything Denver does is supposed to have multiple options off it, but there are some plays that are this is clearly a Porter play, clearly a Murray one. The Murray ones, Murray is so freaking good at executing on them.
Well, think about how many years he's been running them for.
A long time.
And he's been running them with Nikola Jokic forever.
Yeah.
The familiarity and just how many reps he has. And he also has reps against every single defense. They always talk about this. Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray. There's not a defense out there that they haven't seen. Regular season and playoff.
Yeah. And there's a couple that I have that I put out on my Twitter account here the last day that are specifically horns out double is a play that you're going to, I don't want to explain these. You have to kind of see them. But it's a Murray special because you get the ball to Murray and he can ISO on one side of the court, or he can catch the ball, fake the ISO, and then come off of a double screen from Jokic and Aaron Gordon. And they run that play a lot. It's one of the go-to plays for him specifically. It's when you call that play, Murray gets first option at it, first crack at it. He honestly, instantly, the way Jokic does this for so many things, Murray instantly understands the decision the defense have made and knows every chain down the line of okay, they're doing this, then I do this. They do this, I do this. And he reads it so freaking well, stuns guys, freezes the help side defense. And when you see the progression, I think I have a 4 minute, let's see how long is the video. It's only 1:07. It's probably about 5 examples of this. And you'll see 5 different ways he executes on that play. And the more you go through the tape, I'm Murray is better talent-wise than he ever was. Last year, he was better. I don't think conditioning-wise he was. And this year, if you get both, it's Murray's ceiling is so much higher than what we've seen. It really is the playoff version of him as a ceiling. And he has the consistency in him if he just is focused and things. It's crazy, but I really think Murray can have a year that is meaningfully better than ever before if the only limitation is his want and health and conditioning.
It's going to be so funny when he makes the All-Star team.
He should. Honestly, he should.
Well, especially with Paul George leaving, Cat leaving.
Yeah. You're right. There's some openings. Vlatko Čančar, only note I have on him is he's healthy. We haven't really heard anything else. Do you have anything?
No. I mean, we haven't really got any indication on is he fringe rotation? Is he not even being thought about for the rotation? I mean, that stuff will play out throughout the preseason, but
he was in the scrimmage.
It seems like he is in way better both shape and just in a way better space with his game than he was over the summer.
Yeah.
We've heard he didn't play well over the summer, but he's much better now. In practices, he looks like Vlatko Čančar of old.
Right. Russell Westbrook, what have we learned? We learned definitively that he is here to push Jamal Murray.
Yep.
No longer just DNVR speculation.
DNVR just angling there.
Making
our own agenda.
He's making a major impact on the energy and culture of the team. I mean, that to me, I really believe this is the truth, is that everybody was uncertain about what to expect. And through 4 days, everyone's energized. Oh, good, this is breaking the right way early. I will give a caution. My guy, Daman Regula, loves the Lakers, big Lakers fan.
Hates the Nuggets.
I love the guy. I think he's actually hilarious. Really cool and really good guy. He showed me a tweet from him in July of last year or August where he's like, Westbrook is bringing such good energy to this team. And it was a little cold water to be all right.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, I think the Nuggets actually need it more than any other team. He's still in peak shape and athleticism. He's 36.
We talked about this yesterday. Yeah. It's incredible.
He's so fast, man. Around, he's like Ish Smith, where you're like, well, Ish is still fast. Huh?
But he's also like like Ish Smith in that regard, but he can also dunk and put his elbow in the rim.
Yeah, it's a ridiculous pop. And then here's the big one, man. I don't want to say this too declaratively just yet. I think we might get this year Westbrook saying something along the lines like Justin Holiday said last year, which is the last handful of years have not been that enjoyable for me. But being here has restored my faith or whatever. I don't think he's going to say that exact thing, but I wouldn't be surprised if Westbrook hints, like we get through the season and he's like, yes, basketball, this is the best it's been in 5-6 years for me.
Well, it wouldn't be exactly like breaking news if the Nuggets were a better basketball environment than the Lakers, the Clippers, and the Rockets.
Right.
That wouldn't be like the biggest revelation, but he should fall in love with basketball again, for lack of better words, because like playing with Nikola Jokic, I mean, that should reinvigorate, your love for the game and whatever else comes with it.
I think Hunter Tyson shooting lights out.
The last thing on Westbrook, Michael Malone having him address the team the first night.
Love it.
New player coming in to a team where you have Nikola Jokic, Jamal Murray, Michael Porter, Aaron Gordon, DeAndre Jordan, even these guys who have been here, and to have a new face address the team like in the first opportunity that you get. I mean, that says a lot. And it also says that Michael Malone is putting him in position to be a leader of the team. Yeah. It's like, I want you to be the voice of the team.
Yeah. I love that. I think it's a great note.
Yeah.
Hunter Tyson shooting lights out, making an impression, and I would say next up in the rotation. And you might even look like, if you ask me right now, this is pure speculation, this part right here, this is not intel. Him and Zeke Naji, who's ahead right now in the rotation? Different spots, but who would you say is ahead?
Probably Hunter Tyson.
Might be, man. It honestly might be. And some of that is just necessity. The Nuggets need a shooter, but we know Malone loves shooting. We know Malone is calling him out. Other people are calling him out, saying he's making all of his shots. And it's just a small detail. But in the scrimmage, you know who played? All the top guys, including Hunter Tyson. And I think it means something. I think Hunter Tyson has a little movement here. I still think he's 11th or 12th guy. I don't think it's like past that. Yeah. But that means he'll play. Justin Holiday was the 11th guy last year, and he played good minutes. So Hunter Tyson, motion.
I mean, he definitely is ahead of the pecking order in terms of like him and Vlatko too.
You think he's ahead of Vlatko?
I do, yeah.
I don't. I think those two. I think that those ones are way more circumstantial and way more will tilt towards Vlatko's veteran experience and positional. To be honest, like just more size.
I just think the fact that they need a shooter, man.
Can Vlatko shoot?
Yes, but Hunter Tyson, he's a shooter in the same way like Justin Holiday is. Like he can get it off quick.
Right.
Vlatko's much more of a shooter within the Nuggets offense.
Well, here's where you may be right. If what I'm saying is correct, or I'm not really saying this, I'm more saying it's possible that Michael Porter plays more 4, but specifically with Jokic, not with the bench, and Aaron Gordon plays 4 with the bench in this sort of like defensively, he just saves Saric if you're small ball. Well, that means he's the 4. So you're not looking for a 4, you're looking for a 3, and Hunter Tyson is much more of a 3. And on top of that, if Aaron Gordon is your power forward, you might need shooting then, because Strawther it's only one shooter basically for your second unit. So in that world, Hunter Tyson does make sense in terms of a Strawther, Hunter, Aaron Gordon, Saric 2 through 5. Whether that's Murray or Westbrook, it does make more sense to give 2 shooters there. So you might be right, man.
Well, also, if Strawther isn't shooting it well, and that's like another component here, we think Julian Strawther is going to be a good shooter. We think he is.
Yeah.
He also shot
29%, I think.
Yeah, 29.7% from 3 last year.
And I've heard he's been great in camp. He's played great, but the shot is the one thing that hasn't been falling.
Yeah, that's like, he should be a good shooter, but maybe he just has another bad start to the year, and then you're like, we need a shooter.
Well, not only that, the thing with Strawther is it gets in your head after a while.
Especially if you're a young guy in that spot in the rotation.
He can be great at cutting. He can be better than expected at defense, better at passing, all the stuff. But if he's not shooting, it gets in your head. And You don't want to put that evil out in the universe or anything, but it is one thing that you look at and say, if he has a rough first month, man, it could trickle down into, well, maybe we need to try some other options here.
Yeah.
And I think Hunter Tyson is just in a good spot to kind of move up there. DeAndre Jordan, best shape he's been at in years, has a buddy in town. It reminds me of Jeff Green. Remember he had Jeff Green?
Totally, yes.
And then last year he didn't.
I know.
Who was
now
his
he's
buddy?
hanging out with Westbrook the whole day.
And like, I think he liked Holiday. I think he liked Ish Smith. Like, there was definitely a camaraderie there, but there's something different about
His buddy, probably KCP.
KCP, but KCP's low key.
Right.
Russ is
they
high
were
key.
golfing. You know, they had locker kind of near each other. I wonder what locker Westbrook's going to have.
That's a good question. We haven't seen, have we?
Yeah. I mean, KCP could take his locker. Holiday on the end there.
I see him as an end guy.
Yeah, Holiday. Holiday corner.
The Holiday corner.
Holiday Millsap corner.
But DeAndre Jordan, for whatever it's worth, it's weird to think that you can have good and bad mentorship roles, but I do think having Jeff Green helped him. Like, you go to the Padres game, I've got my buddy, so the energy's already going to be there, versus you go to the Padres game, but you don't have your buddy, and you're like...
the Padres game. What a shot that was.
Wasn't it? It was
great.
I was talking to Michael Malone after practice the other day, and he referenced that exact thing.
Really?
He says you can't put a price on that, because I was asking him about trips, and he was like, even if you think about our San Diego trip, one of the reasons I like going there is because it's a chance to get away. And you think back to a couple years ago, you see him at the Padres game. I didn't even know. And then you see him, and it's like, that's why.
And that was DJ, Jeff, Ish Smith, and Yoke.
And I will tell you, and I think
they were all there, but those guys sitting front row together.
Yeah. I do like the idea of there's a front row.
Yeah. It's like, we got 4 tickets.
The party deck people. It's like, sorry, Pickett.
Christian, you're up there. Yeah. See, like, here's a rooftop ticket.
But you know what? I will say this. It is funny because, again, this was told to me just kind of as like just talking to him. It wasn't in front of the cameras or anything, but I don't think this is a note that's not worth sharing. We always joke about you have to go to San Diego because of the space, and I think that's a part of it, right? But I honestly think, after talking to Mo about this the other day, I honestly think a large part of it is just get away.
Yep.
There's also apparently a nude beach in San Diego that they've stumbled upon on accident.
On accident.
Well, I'm told it was not a great sight. Not a great sight.
That's actually why they're not going back.
They stumbled not far from the hotel.
We gotta go somewhere else.
Yeah.
What about Abu Dhabi?
Yeah, I don't think there's any of that in Abu Dhabi. Last guy. Actually, let's talk Peyton Watson real quick.
Hurt.
I hate that he is missing camp. I know it seems like a nothing burger because I don't think it's anything like serious. You know, you take care of that hamstring, you don't rush it, and as long as it heals, it heals. But I just hate that he's missing the chance to make an impression.
Yep.
To me, that as much as anything, I think is a sneaky story that I hope goes away because he comes back in 2 weeks and just looks fine and gets enough ramp up that there's no question going into the season.
It's absolutely a story. It's the only real negative and the only kind of bad story that we've seen pop up here. We saw how an injury in training camp hurt Christian Braun's first half of the season last year. It can really hurt you just from like... You just can't get the momentum that other guys get this time of year. That Hunter Tyson's getting. Yeah. That Strawther could be getting. That Šarić is getting. You just don't get that same momentum. And then
you stop practicing.
Right.
Season begins and
you can't get chemistry with guys.
All you get is game reps.
Yeah.
And those are obviously more valuable than anything, but they're fewer. I mean, Peyton Watson might play 15 minutes a night the first month.
Yeah.
And that's not a lot of reps. So is there. And the last one is Jokic. I just think his new look is amazing. I think I don't want to. Nobody talks about Jokic because he's such a constant. But I will say that just watching him the other day in the scrimmage, I think an underrated part of Jokic's game is his growing confidence that he's the biggest and baddest in the world. And there's something about the climb, and then there's something to when you're on top, holding that spot with a sort of chip on your shoulder of like, nobody's on my level and this, that. And I think last year Jokic had that energy. I think the year before Jokic had that energy. And I think this year, just watching him play, he carries himself. This is going to sound crazy. Talk about hallway famers. LeBron carries himself like he's the baddest guy in the world. Jokic kind of has that. And he's had it for a while, but watching him this year, to me, it's the aura, the beard, the way he wears whatever he wants. He's not just, he cut his own shorts.
The cutoff shorts are a total vibe.
But it's a thing, man, where it's like, I am my own person. He just carries himself like the king of the jungle.
Yeah, no, he kind of does. And he is definitely this year. And the beard has stayed so far. We're wondering if that was going to get cut off before a game. It seems like it might be staying.
He needs to keep it. He needs to keep it, and he needs to throw a little gold chain around. Like I'm telling you, he needs to wear those cutoff shorts as often as he can. I'm telling you, man, he looks intimidating.
He does. He does look intimidating.
Yoke never looks intimidating, man. Like all the pictures of him, he's so goofy. Like right now, he's not at all goofy. He's 0% goofy.
Right.
He's more scary and cool than ever before.
He totally does have the attitude of like, I'm the biggest, baddest dude in the league.
There's layers to it, man. I'm telling you, he's more of a superstar than ever before, in a lot of good ways. Yoke's always been the unassuming superstar in this or that, and slowly over the last 4 seasons or so, he's become more of a superstar.
Yeah.
And so far, it hasn't necessarily been a negative thing, but it certainly is a walk around, like you go into scrimmage and it's all your teammates, and there's a level of but as long as we're scrimmaging, I don't care if you give me, Coach Munson. Like my team is winning, and he just carries himself that way.
I'm gonna pull the Jimmy Butler in Minnesota. Just play with 4 scrubs.
Get some more scrubs in there. Exhibit 10 guy. I don't even know your name.
What if we heard a story of Jokic and Hunter Tyson, Pickett, Zeke, just
dominating
beating the other 4 starters in the scrimmage?
I want it.
Yeah. Here's another thing I saw. I saw the video of them arriving in Abu Dhabi.
Ooh,
I think the official Nuggets account tweeted this, and I don't know if this is how it was supposed to get set up, but the Nuggets bus pulls up in front of a door that's open to the hotel. And it pulls up, and Yoke is sitting in the seat right next to the door. So you can see him kind of in the camera, still in the bus, because the bus doors are open, and he's just in the seat right in front of the doors. And he gets off the bus first, and he's the first to walk into the hotel.
Hell yeah.
Just kind of leading the Nuggets in. I don't know if that was by design. I don't know if it just happened that way.
Wow.
But I thought that was interesting.
I like it. It's cinematic, if nothing else.
It was a little cinematic.
Yoke has aura right now. I'm telling you, he has some aura.
He does.
I love that he called in Westbrook to come. It's like the Nuggets have more aura than they've had in a while. It's kind of cool to see. We didn't get to the duos, which is the headline, which means I'm going to have to change the headline.
Yeah.
This happens sometimes, man. It's hard but I thought it was good, just going into it, which means tomorrow we are off. Why? Because we are filming our preview series, which we do every year. Like I said, have some cool stats, have some videos. Tim Legler makes appearance. Tim Legler. Oh, Legs is going to be doing. You're not going to want to miss those. They should be dropping here in about 10 days. We're recording them tomorrow, so there's no show, but we will be back on Thursday. And then guess what happens on Friday, Harrison? Post-game show.
Oh, my God. The first Winner's Lounge of the season, hopefully.
Hopefully, man. Alyssa, we have any super chats?
Yes.
Anybody crazy enough to super chat us on a Tuesday? DJ Seahawk.
Wind for you. AG MPJ or Rush Šarić, who's the better duo? Well, probably AG MPJ.
I mean,
I'll go with that one.
I think you're right. I agree. I agree about that one. Everybody, thanks so much for hanging out with us. Take the day off. We'll see you on Thursday. Hit that like button for us.
We all silly like the mayor.